Hi everyone, welcome back to day 2.
Good morning.
Good morning everyone.
Good evening, good afternoon, good night.
So many lovely people already in the chat.
Welcome back to Adobe Live. It is day 2 with Kladi, our special guest this week. Just a couple housekeeping things. Make sure you guys check out the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge.
My mom is on the chat.
Oh, hi Mom.
I didn't know she could turn on a computer.
Quick segue. Make sure you check out the challenge. You can replay Kathleen's Daily Creative Challenge from earlier today and check it out. We are designing souvenir postcards today. So
we look forward to review them.
Yes, we had a really good time doing that yesterday, and we hope you send those designs today. We have a very busy day, so I think we should just get into it.
Should we just say a couple hello to these beautiful people that are saying hello from so many amazing places,
from
Texas,
everywhere.
Mexico.
Hi.
Oh, Chanel, hello. She's so lovely.
Which one's your mom?
I think when way up, but she's called Juliana.
Ciao, Mom. Hi, Juliana. Hi, Toby. Hi, Irene.
Yeah, we need to say hi to Tim because yesterday I was so rude. I didn't say hi
Hi,
to him.
Tim. Where are you?
Hi, Tim. Hi, Jesus. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Robbie, Anthony. Everybody is here on the chat today. Miguel, Christine, or Christian, Lauren. Hello. Tim says hi.
Right, so let's get started.
Yes.
Today's going to be a very exciting day, so make sure that you stick to the very end of the stream because I've got some surprises.
Special surprises.
That I brought directly from Manchester. I'm going to do a little recap and intro for those of you that were not with us yesterday and they're tuning in today. So I am Kladi. I run a design studio in Manchester. It's called Printmysoul. If you do want to connect with me, you can go on behance.net/printmysoul or connect on different social media like Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook using the handle @printmysoul. I run the studio with my amazing friend and colleague Maria Deli Giorgi, which is now working hard in the UK. But as you can hear from my accent, I'm definitely not British. Yeah, in fact, I'm from a lovely place in the south of Italy. And the place is called Lecce. Salento, as you can see from the map, is quite south, is in front of Greece. It's a lovely place, but that didn't allow me to develop a career in design because, as I say yesterday, we didn't even have that choice. I didn't know what a designer was. So as you can see, my background is not in design at all. I started as a communicator doing public relation and corporate communication for businesses. I worked at the UN, and as much as my background wasn't in design, my passion always was into colors and, getting creative since I was very, very young. That brought me to design a cover, which, I discovered yesterday. When I was 10, I actually designed the cover. So my passion was definitely there.
I'm a designer.
Yeah, the reason why I share all this info with you guys is because I really want to reinforce and give you through this stream all the energy, the stubbornness required in order to follow through with your passion. I have so many messages from you guys saying that you're inspired to work, that you go through a hard time in your work and you go back into design. So just keep going. Those spaces are great. These streams are great in order to practice. So even if you have a day job, you can come back home and watch the stream and refine your techniques and learn with us. So stick to what you love. And speaking about what I love, another topic that is being quite frequent in the email and messages that I received after yesterday were a question about my graffitis.
Of course, everyone wants to know this story.
So I do not share my graffiti usually on social media. But I've decided to do a little collage for you guys.
You guys are special today.
You guys are so special. You really are. So this is not something that you can find online. I like to keep them in my street gallery, for the people who inhabit the street. And here we go. Let's show some. I put some sketches as well, just to show you that, for whatever work, always doing some sketching and research is always a good starting point, even if you end up painting on the wall. And again, the work never ends up being the one that you start with. There is always a transformation. So do not be afraid, just follow through. And here we go, some more
I love
Kladi
all of
graffiti
this.
stuff.
Did you have a graffiti like name, like an
I was
alias?
scared you were gonna ask that. Yeah.
Of course, that's the best part. Tell us.
I don't know if you can see there from some of the images. I mean, you're not supposed to read it that straightforward, but my street name is Juicy.
Oh, juicy.
So yeah, next time you're gonna be like, oh my god, that was Kladi.
Yes.
Hopefully, you're gonna get busy in San Francisco at some point.
Yes.
But
Please.
again, another reason why I'm sharing this story, where that is definitely fun, but also, you know, I never draw before. I never studied illustration, and here we go. I kept going with my passion. I followed through, and I published an illustrated book, which I designed fully. I've written, and allowed me to win a very prestigious award. Just the past May, on the 8th of May, I was in Berlin, which is the Fedrigoni Top Award, and I have to thank 75,000 people that supported me. And also, again, I never studied design. And I ended up meeting these amazing people, which are my design heroes. Simon Esterson is the art director of I Magazine. If you guys, you know, I strongly advise to see your print resources. Arsi Stavro, she's a partner at Pentagram. They are, you know, multi-award winning designer. I strongly advise to see their work as an inspiration. You can see, especially with Astrid work, how to transform a complex brand into a very simple, emotional communication. So I definitely suggest you guys to have a look and to keep following people that you respect in the industry, because they're always great inspiration. Going back to my day-to-day life, I run Studio Printmysoul. At Printmysoul, we help small businesses to find their voice through the use of visual communication. So as we were saying yesterday, branding encompasses the entire system of images that represent a business. It's not only a logo. A logo is commissioned by a brand. That's the reason why yesterday we're gonna catch up from when we left. We're gonna pick it up from where we left it yesterday. We were focusing on a social media pack because, again, it's important to take care of the entire branding system. Now, I know I'm talking a lot of technical terms here, and that's why I made available for you guys a branding theory glossary. You can find those resources both on my website, which is called iamkladi.com/resources. You can find some resources. Also, I've not forgot that some of you guys were asking about having my brand platform. So the questions that I asked to the clients, how do I introduce the meeting? How do I read the client mind? And my reply was by listening and by asking questions. Now, I spoke with Maria and with my colleagues, and we didn't feel very comfortable to share online these private resources, but because I like to keep my promises, I found a way in which I can still share this document with you. All you have to do is to go to my website, iamkladi.com/resources, and if you put your email here in this field and click on Send Me Kladi Resources, as soon as I have a second, I finish the stream, most likely probably will be tomorrow, you'll receive an email with a document called Brand Platform that will hopefully be helpful to jumpstart your meeting. So again, sorry that I didn't share it online, but if you put your email there, you're definitely gonna get it. And also, I'm aiming to send to whoever's gonna put the email on my resources page, some free resources every 2 months. All the resources on my website are free of charge, so they're just hopefully useful templates and tools for you guys.
Which means you are all special today.
Yes,
and get
you
to
are.
walk away with something free.
They are special.
And Tim has put the website and the
Oh,
URL
thank you, Tim.
in the chat. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you so
Always
much.
so handy and ready to go.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna show you real quick some of the work that we do. Again, as you see, it's not only a logo, those are brand identity. Mm-hmm. It goes everywhere. It goes on a mobile, it goes on a website, on an app, on a business card. Yesterday we designed an emblem This is a picture of my previous stream. If you do want to have a better look in terms of how to design a logo and how to create mood board, I will definitely redirect you to my previous stream that we've done in March. But I think now it's time to get started on where we left it. So just to wrap it up, mood boards and logo creation we went over yesterday with an emblem, and now we're gonna be focusing on the social media kit. Let's go straight. This is yesterday work for those who didn't join us yesterday and they are only starting to watch the stream today. This is what we looked into yesterday. Again, all these templates and resources are available to download on my website. So as long as you go on the resources pages, you can download all this amazing kit for free. Speaking of the social media kit, we're gonna start with, I think we left it on the Instagram story.
On the Instagram story, the beautiful photo that you retouched.
So if you're starting from scratch today, you can find the size of the file they use on social media on the social media cheat sheet. Again, is on my website, available for download. And because yesterday we didn't have time to finish up, I already put a template available for you guys. So if you head over now, before I open Photoshop, you'll be able to work with us. So let's get going. Here we go. So this is where we left it yesterday. There are a few things that I needed to add. So yesterday we spoke about how to create a smart object in Photoshop and how useful smart objects are. They're one of my favorite objects. In fact, they are so super cool because they allow you to work with one single layer and use it as a container, a box in which we can put multiple layers, one or more. But most importantly, they allow you to work in a not destructive way. That means that all the adjustments, all the distortion and filters that we apply to the layer, that will be editable. So it keeps our work flexible. We can make, if we didn't like it, we can go back and edit at any time. So this is the picture, this is the picture that we edited yesterday, and it's ready to be saved and to be transferred in our mobile. So before saving, I want to show you two ways of saving images. First one is to save for web in order to be used in a digital environment. So we're just gonna go to File, Export, and Save for Web, and we're gonna press OK. And just a few things to bear in mind is the size of the file over here. If you look at the bottom corner, it'll tell you how big your image is. I think I'm quite happy with this size, but if you go over a mega or the size of the file becomes too big, I will definitely work on the percentage and make sure that this little guy here is clicked so you retain the original proportion of the image. Otherwise the image is going to get distorted. So make sure that this is clicked. So there is a little line in the middle, and then you can work on your percentage and scale the file. This will allow you also to reduce the overall size of the image. So let's go back to our full view. I'm happy with the size. I'll make sure that I save it as a JPEG, and I'm gonna go ahead and click save. I'm gonna put it on the desktop. Just gonna be easy for us to find. And just press save. Now if we go on my desktop over here, we can find the image, which I emailed to myself. And if we can please connect my mobile. Let's see, probably have to take the cover off.
Oh, your little cat.
Yeah, my little cat. Wish I could show you. My cat is called Frida. I'm a very big Frida Kahlo fan. So
love it.
We got Frida the cat. For the people that follow me on
you should draw that Frida the cat.
Oh yeah.
And make some stickers out of it. Make stickers out of everything.
Idea. Sticker pool, here I come.
Yes.
How much time we got for the chapter?
Yeah, speaking of stickers, in less than 14 minutes, you guys can win Sticker Wheel stickers. So just stick around, make sure you're chatting, talking to us in the chat, and you can win some stickers today.
Perfect. So I emailed the photo to myself, and here it is.
Ooh, looks good
So
on the
it's
phone.
ready to be used. I'm going to open my Instagram and go into my stories here.
Oh, look
That
at
was us
us.
yesterday.
We're
Having some fun, jiggling.
so cute.
And I'm
Oh
just
my
gonna
gosh,
press
so
on my
cute.
story, and all you got left to do is go on your photo library, and here we go.
Load it
The
up.
story is ready to go. It fits perfectly. You have to do
Yeah.
nothing but press your story in order to share it or send to. Now, because I am not a restaurant and I don't want my followers to think that I'm offering an happy hour, and also it's not Monday anymore because we
Kladi
created
designer slash restaurant owner slash.
loves happy hours. So I'm just gonna write something quick like learn how to create an Insta story.
Uh-oh, now everybody wants to know what your Instagram is so they can follow you.
So I actually use my personal Instagram, which is Kladi. What do you call it? Underscore?
Underscore?
Yeah, the little dash on the
Oh, dash or underscore?
is a dash at the bottom.
The dash is at the bottom.
Yeah,
Underscore.
underscore.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I would have used the Italian terms for it, but it wouldn't work. So it's Kladi underscore insight. But my main Instagram, which I suggest to follow, is at Printmysoul. So you can see some more interesting design stuff rather than all my traveling tips.
I'm sure
So-
those are fun.
Here we go. I'm gonna change the color to black. And here we go. So our story is ready to go. All I have to go is put into my story. And if you guys go into my Kladi Insight, you'll be able to see the story. So that's how easy it is. Oh, that's Frida the cat. So let's unplug my phone. We watched way too much of my personal stuff today.
They love it. Hi, Axel.
So hi Axel, nice to see you. It's been a while.
I know.
Yeah. So yeah, here we go. We've done our story. The beauty of working with this size, and the reason why I wanted to share with you guys and show you how to use it on the actual Instagram app, is because the beauty of working in such a professional way is that you don't have to do anything. You got your image ready, you open Instagram, and you push it to your feed. Of course, you can add some hashtag, you can tag people, but in terms of, image manipulation, you save so much time.
Yes.
Now let's talk about another time saver way of working. Now I finished to work with this image, and I'm gonna go ahead and save it on my desktop, and I want to call this new file instant story. In order to open this dialog box, I pressed Shift Command S, which will save a copy of your file, and I'm gonna call this file Instagram template. So I'm gonna put this file into my desktop so we can find it easily. Make sure that we're saving a Photoshop file, and we're gonna hit save. Maxi-band compatibility, okay. And let's go back into my desktop. So here it is. Now, what I wanted to show you guys is how to create a template. The difference between a template and a Photoshop file is that when we open a PSD file, we're actually working with an original image. So whatever change that you're gonna do on this image is gonna be saved on the main file. While if you do this little trick, which is to click on the image, if you're working on a Mac, the shortcut is Command I. I am not sure if you're working on a PC, if Team or Asus, I know you guys are PC user, could please help us with that. That'd be great. But if you're working on a Mac, like I do, the shortcut Command E will allow you to bring the file information panel. And what I'm gonna do here, where there is the file extension, I'm gonna add a T at the end of my file. So the overall file extension will be PSDT. And I'm gonna press OK, and I'm gonna accept my change and use PSDT as my file extension. And I'm gonna close it. I'm gonna go back in Photoshop and close my file. So now when we're gonna double click to open this file, which now has got the PSDT extension, look what happens. The new file that Photoshop opens is an untitled file. That means it's a copy. So every time that we're gonna open this file, we're gonna create a copy, a complete new file. That allows you to make changes, double click on our clever smart object and change the image that we're using. We can just drag and drop one of the images from our libraries and
so essentially you're just making a copy, but
Yeah.
you're not messing with any of the format of the original, so you can kind of keep reusing it as a template.
exactly. So I'm just saving
this
a new
photo.
image. And when I go and close my clipping mask, probably the only thing I have to do is change the text. But here we go. You don't have to worry about sizes. You don't have to worry about creating a smart object. You don't have to worry about creating a text layer.
all
Everything is there. And it's not going to affect the main file.
Yes. Our theme,
So-
if you didn't catch it yesterday, work smarter, not harder.
Yes, that's what we're gonna do. That's the entire purpose of creating templates and using the amazing feature of the Adobe apps. What I'm trying to show you guys, and what my goal is during the stream, is to share my process in order to maximize the power of these amazing apps. But most importantly, what I've tried to do and what we're gonna keep doing today is to learn how to streamline your workflow thanks to the CC library integration, which applies to InDesign, Illustrator, and Photoshop, and other integration like Adobe Font or Capture, which are also amazing time savers.
Yes.
So let's go and close this file, and we don't want to save it. And let's start.
Close.
Yes, so we already have something open here. So I'm gonna close it because I wanna start from scratch. And what I'm gonna do as a second step for today, let's not save that. Let's start from the
Start
beginning.
fresh.
Let's start fresh together. So let's go ahead and keep filling our social media kit, and let's create a Facebook shared image. Again, if you're not familiar with the size of a Facebook shared image, that's fine. I don't remember them. There's so many social media out there. There are so many images that you can share. I'm sure super clever people do remember them, but for everyone else's that, like me, doesn't remember them, again, if you go on iamkladi.com/resources, you got your
These
social media.
Beautiful templates at your disposal.
Yes, we got the cheat sheet with all the sizes for 2019. So all you have to do is click download. You're gonna have a direct download open, and then when you open your PDF file, voila, we got all the sizes here. The one that we're looking at today are the shared image. So here we have 1200 by 630. So all I'm gonna do, I usually remember one and pick it and copy and paste the other one. So
That's what I do.
yeah.
Or
What
I
do you
did
guys
what you
do?
did yesterday and paste the whole thing in one.
And then copy it and copy it again.
Yep.
Right, so we got about I think 5 minutes before the chat and win. So let's go and create this file before starting. So again, I'm gonna go ahead and copy the sizes.
Now this is a Facebook static image, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the Facebook static shared image. So when you guys write a post and you want to put what people usually write call as well, like a Facebook banner, that's an incorrect way of saying. The correct terminology is shared image. So it's the image that gets shared when you shared some content, a post. This is the correct size. I'm just gonna underline and select here from the PDF, press Command C to copy, and go back on our beautiful Photoshop and click on Create New. Now we're gonna go ahead and copy here the size that were already there, because that's the last file that was open. So it's 1200 by 630. Make sure that you work on RGB mode, because that's the color mode that we need when we work and we produce file and outputs for web. And before creating the file, I really want to go ahead and save the presets. We've learned how to do that yesterday. Again, we are making our workflow efficient. So you don't want to go ahead and copy the sizes over and over again. Okay, my cheat sheet is super cool. I know you guys are gonna love it, but there is a much clever way to use Photoshop in order to save this preset. And you can do so by clicking this little button up here. And if you press, you can code this Facebook shared image. Oops, missed a D. Preset, and save the preset. As you can see, the preset is right here. It's got the right sizes. Now, just bear in mind, we did not create a file. Those are only preset. That means there are a copy of settings. So whenever we open a new file, all we have to do is click on the preset and the settings here will be filled in automatically by Photoshop. Isn't that a huge time saver?
Yes.
So let's now go ahead and save the file, which I'm gonna call ONT, which is the name of the lovely restaurant that we're working for, Facebook image. And I'm gonna go ahead and create the file. Perfect. So we're working on the right size. The first thing that I'm gonna do is to right click or click Control and click on our background layer, and we're gonna convert it into our super clever smart object. And I'm gonna name this layer by double clicking on the label here on the layer, and I'm gonna rename it image background. So again, the reason why we created a smart object out of this layer is because we want to use this layer as a container. We're going to start to place all the different images that we're going to use in our Olive and Thyme template. This is again a huge time saver and also reduces the file size, because otherwise you will have to place images and images and images on the same file. But thanks to my smart object, we can use a container in which we can put one or more layer. Now the second step, I think we got enough time just to create the structure of the shared image. The kind of image that I wanted to create today is a quote. Quotes are very popular. They're also very inspiring. So I'm gonna go ahead and create a box where we can lay the text. So all I'm gonna do is go and click on our rectangle tool from our toolbar here, and then click and drag on top on our artboard. And if we press Command T to transform, we have this beautiful pink line that allows you to center. If you do not see those lines, I think I got 18 seconds to say it, you can go on View and Show and make sure that your Smart Guide are ticked and turned on. If they don't work, that's the way to make it work. So make sure the tick is there. And then we're gonna press Return. And I think we're gonna jump on the shot and win and
you guys, it's chat win time.
Yay! Type.
All right, you guys, make sure you start chatting away. We have Sticker Mill stickers to give away, so get started, get going, give a shout out, say your favorite whatevers.
I want to know where you're from. That's always very exciting.
Where are you guys from? Shout out your city, your location,
Yesterday
your region.
we had like Russia, Brazil.
Yes. We didn't get a lot of Italy, so show us where you're from, guys. Keep going.
My mom is definitely there, so we definitely go
one
Italian.
One Italian. We want more, though.
Guys, you're sending so much love. It's incredible.
Yes.
I'm very humbled by all these amazing messages. I love you too, guys.
I saw Irvine in the house. Whoop, whoop, SoCal.
Oh, we got India,
Germany, DC, Somalia, Nicaragua, Brazil,
Wow.
Boca Raton. Oh, wow. Oh my gosh, it's going so fast.
Canada, UK,
Chicago,
I don't know. I'm gonna
UK,
read.
MD, Raptors.
Oh my gosh.
Raptors stickers. San
Diego.
Antonio, Texas. Oh my God, we have a lot
Stickers,
of
stickers,
Somalias
stickers.
this year. Go!
Go. You got your last seconds.
I feel it. The winter's coming. The winter is coming. Pasadena.
Here we go.
And congratulations, Ina.
Congratulations, you got your free stickers.
Yes, free sticker mail stickers. And hopefully you create something beautiful and share them with us because we'd love to see them and add to our collections. Her laptop is too clean.
Please send me some stickers. I'm definitely like,
And if you
I'm
didn't,
starving for stickers. This is too shiny. We don't like it like that. We really need
don't
to.
worry, if you didn't win, you can use this code and you can get a discount so you can create your own stickers. So everyone wins today.
Yes, absolutely. And again, Ina, congratulations. Will be great if you could share on Discord the design as well. It would be really nice to see what you do with the sticker that you won. That's so exciting.
All right.
Yes.
I think we're ready to get back to social?
Yes. Let's do it. So we centered our rectangle, and once we're happy that is centered in the page, there is another way in which you can center the rectangle by having the shape selected. You can see here on the option bar there is this little path alignment that you can click, and then you can use it to align. Let's go back and see our screen. Align to the canvas, and just by clicking vertical alignment and horizontal alignment will allow to align your shape within the canvas. Now, my rectangle didn't move because we used the superpower of the smart guides, the pink lines, and we already aligned our rectangle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the option bar to get out of the alignment menu, and I'm going to press Command T in order to resize this rectangle. Again, I'm going to press Option in order to constrain the center of my transformation, and I'm going to drag down in order to make this rectangle a little bit more smaller, so we'll be able to see a little bit more of our background image. And I'm going to hit return. Now, before hitting return, actually, I just wanted to mention this little guy here, because yesterday some people in the chat were like, oh, I don't have it, where is the reference point? It used to be standard default on Photoshop. With the new CC19 is not a default anymore, but you can bring it back through your preference panel. So I'm just going to show you quick. First I'm going to hit return in order to accept the transformations, and then I'm going to go into Photoshop, Preferences, Tools. And here we go. At the very bottom here, you have this little tick that says show reference point when using transform. I really enjoy having it always on. I think it's very useful. So I keep it ticked and I use that as a default. It's up to you guys to see if you want to use it or not. Something else that is worth mentioning when we talk about the transform tool is the fact that with the new release of Photoshop 2019, we do not have to press Shift in order to constrain the proportion during transformation. If you are not used and you're used more to the previous legacy, you can go back and keep the old legacy free transform setting by always in your preference panel by going into General. And then, as you can see here, there is the other little tick box called Use Legacy Free Transform. All you have to do is to tick the box and then press OK in order to use your Shift button again in order to constrain proportion. I'm getting used to work with the new setting of Adobe CC19, so I'm gonna untick it for now and press OK. So what are we missing here? We got a background layer, then we stacked on top a rectangle, which will be a base for our text. And what we need now is the text layer. So I'm gonna show you a little trick and a little cool way in which we can use our text tool and type tool, sorry, not text tool, type tool. I did say yesterday, I make up a lot of words. There are mixing between Spanish, Italian, English. I got my own
think-
vocabulary.
No, I think type and text are like interchangeable, so you're fine.
So,
we all know what you're saying.
Let's go and click on the type tool, but I want to show you a little trick here. If we keep our rectangle selected, so as you can see here, our layer is highlighted in blue. And actually, I'm gonna give you another little preference tip before we start. If your layers are not so clear like mine, as you can see, mine is highlighted in blue, which make it very easy to stand out. I think the default is gray.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that sometimes is not very handy. You can change it into blue and into your preferences, interface, highlight color, and as you can see, I got blue. Yeah, the default is gray. So as you can see here,
Yeah.
it changed,
The
and it
blue
can
makes
be
a big
confusing.
difference.
Yeah, especially because I use a very dark theme for my appearance. So I will go back and select blue in order to make sure that we are aware, and press OK, in order to make sure that we are aware on which layer we're working on. So again, make sure that your rectangle layer, your shape layer is selected, and then let's go and click on our type tool for our type menu, for our from our tool menu over here. Now, as you can see, there are a little dotted frame around our type tool, and that means that wherever we click, we're going to create a frame in which we can place text. But look what happened. Because we have our shape selected, first of all, the rectangle outline is blue, is not black. This is because the layer is selected. And look what happens to the little frame there is around the type tool. If we are outside our shape, we got a square, which allows you to see if we can zoom it in a bit. That much more clearer. So we got a little dotted square that will allow you to create a type frame. If we go on our outline, it changes into a little dotted wave, which will allow you to use the outline of the shape as a baseline for your path. And if we go inside our rectangle, we're gonna use the container for the path as a container for our text. Isn't that super clever?
Cool.
So just by selecting the shape, you can automatically choose what to do. Now I've clicked where the circle was active, so I'm using my rectangle as a container for my text. That doesn't affect my rectangle layer. My shape layer is there. It's just going to affect my type layer over here. So I'm just going to go ahead and use text that I've downloaded from the internet. They're just some quotes that apply to restaurants. Let's go and find it on our social media assets. Found some quote sample that could be very useful for us. So I'm just going to go ahead and use this one. There is no love sincere than the love of food. That applies to me for sure.
Ain't that the truth?
So I'm going to go ahead and double click, highlight, drag and highlight, press on Command C to copy, and go back on Photoshop. Now let's make sure that our type layer is selected. And if you guys notice what happened here, I actually created another type layer by mistake. Don't worry, you can simply click and press your delete button, or just drag it into that little bin icon here in order to delete the layer. So making sure that we have the rectangle tool selected, we click on our type tool, we make sure that we got our circle, so we are gonna contain the text within the frame, and we're gonna press Command V. We're gonna press in the shape first, and then we're gonna hit Command V on our keyboard in order to copy our little quote here that we strongly believed in. So once we're done with creating the text, I'm gonna go and convert the text into, oops, I've just deleted a letter.
It's okay, you can put my name there instead. Just
A really
kidding.
good call. Yep, by Kladi and Just, yes. So I'm gonna go and create a smart object even on this text layer. I found this very useful because again, smart objects are container, so even this is valid for a type. So whenever we wanna insert more text, we don't have to create a million type layers, but we can go back on our type smart object layer and change the text directly there. Yes. Also, this will allow you, as we see in a second, so in order to transform into a smart object, first of all, we press Control or right click into the layer and convert to smart object. This will allow you to use the text as a box. So even when we're gonna go ahead and transform it, if we press Command T, it'll work like a box here. And thanks to our beautiful pink smart guides, we'll be able to place it into the center of our canvas and press OK. Now the only difference, let's go back and click on our selection tool. The only difference here that you have to notice is that the text will not be editable within this file. In order to edit the text, you will have to double click on our smart object, and here we go, we have your text layer here. So let's click on the type tool, and the type is fully editable. You can change color, you can delete a word, you can do whatever you want, and then again press Save, Command S to save, and Command W to close the window, and whatever is gonna be changed in your smart object text layer will then appear automatically on your main file. Isn't that super amazing?
It's awesome.
So what are we gonna do now? We're gonna start to place an image as a background. So in order to do so, we're gonna go back into our libraries. For those of you that were not with us yesterday, we collect a lot of images directly from our Adobe stock within InDesign. We saved it into InDesign, and now they're just right here.
Just waiting for us to use
just
them.
sitting there. We just have to, do nothing and scroll and pick one because
smart.
It's so clever. I really
harder.
love this integration. It's just such a time saver.
And you can see the preview
You
in
can
the
see
top,
the
which
preview.
is so nice.
And in order to work with an image, all you gotta do is double click into the image. So this one actually brought us, that's very important. As I said, we used this image into InDesign. So this one wasn't downloaded from Adobe stock. It was part of our mood board. And that's the reason why, very clever, it brought you back into InDesign. Although this is not what we need right now. So I'm just gonna go ahead and close InDesign because we really wanna stick and work onto our Photoshop file. So let's go ahead and select an image here.
We want a food heavy image, something that's gonna make us salivate.
Let's go ahead and find something that we can play with, or we can just search a new image really, if we want to.
What kind of foods do you guys like? What is your favorite spread? If you could have it any day, every day, what would it be? Olives?
I like olives. I'm very Italian and I like my olives. So as soon as I jumped on it straight away. So the reason why I wanted to open the image by itself, and that's the reason why I double clicked on the asset here, on the graphic asset in the library, is because I want to be able to edit this image and show you some cool stuff that's been updated here on Photoshop CC 2019. So let's say that I really like this image, but I'm not too happy having all these other bunch of olives here. All I want is this board. And I want to be able to use all this gray area as a negative space in which I can put my text and my quote. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna first of all unlock this layer by double clicking on the background and press OK. And also I wanna make sure that in this case, we're working with a rasterized layer. So we want to edit the pixel in this case. We do not want at a smart object. So if you do have a smart object, you can always press Control, and instead of smart object here, you're gonna be clicking on rasterize layer. Of course, it's disabled right now because our image is already rasterized. And you can see that as well because on the corner, there is no little frame like it usually does when we're working with Smart Object. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and click on my polygonal lasso tool in order to create a selection. You can access the polygonal lasso tool simply by pressing L on your keyboard. And then I'm gonna go ahead and make a selection by creating points. So I'm just gonna click and move around my image in order to create a selection here. You can also select the area outside your canvas. It doesn't really matter. When you close your selection here, you see there is a little circle coming up. You close your selection by clicking at the end of the path. It's not going to affect, there is no real pixel here, so you don't really have to worry. You can just keep the selection loose. Now, my old way of using a content aware and making sure that we can delete safely this part of the image, replacing it with part of the other pixel that are already present in the image. My way to go in the past was to press Command and delete, Command Shift delete, not working here. There we go. So we do not use Command. I don't use it anymore. And that's the reason, as I was saying, that's my old way of operating. We're gonna show a new way of doing that. I do not use this method anymore, and I'll show you why in a second. You open a dialog box by pressing Shift and delete, making sure that content aware is the field into the content, and press OK. So the reason why I do not use this shortcut anymore is because, as you can see, as much as it does a great job over here, it doesn't really, do a great job here because it's picking up and sampling part of this image. And we don't really want that because, it clearly looks like we are manipulating the image here. So do not remember the shortcut because we're not going to use it anymore. Photoshop CC 2019 has brought back an amazing feature, which is the new content aware fill task space. So let's hit Command Z to undo what we just did, and making sure that, again, the layer is rasterized and we created a selection. We go into Edit and Content Aware Fill. There is no shortcut for this yet, but also you can create your own shortcut. So let's go ahead and click on Content Aware Fill. And this is the new Content Aware Fill task space. I find it absolutely amazing. As you can see, you have a preview, which it looks pretty much like what we did with the previous dialog box. And that's the our workspace where we're gonna go ahead and edit the sampling area. As you can read here, this color green indicates the sampling area that Photoshop is taking pixel from in order to replace it into our selection. So we're gonna be able to control the sampling area. So we can get rid of all the side of the image that we do not want to duplicate. So let's go back in our full view. Everything that we're gonna be operating here is gonna show in real time in our preview. Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
So first of all, I want to introduce you guys to this new brush that you have in your Content Aware Fill task space, which is the sampling brush. And then is little option bar here. You have a plus and a minus that will be able to allow you, with a minus, you can subtract sampling area, and with the plus, you can activate it. I usually keep the minus on. You can always toggle between the two by pressing the Alt key on your keyboard. As you can see in the middle of the circle, we have a minus, but if we press key, it transforms into a plus. So again, always very good way to work with shortcut in order to be fast while you're working. So I'm very happy to keep this kind of, is it chalkboard?
It's kind of like a
granite.
I don't know, like a granite maybe?
Yeah. So we're happy to replace our pixels here with this sample, but we're not really happy having all the leaves. Can you see the leaves come through? These olive oil leaves gets duplicated, and we don't want that. So make sure that you got your minus selected. You can toggle the size of your brush either by dragging here on the label left and right, or with your keyboard shortcut with your parentheses I think is Kladi's vocabulary, with your left and right bracket. If you press your right bracket, you make it larger. If you press on your keyboard your left bracket, you make your brush smaller. So again, making sure we got the minus selector, we're just gonna paint here and get rid of all this area that we do not want. Now I'm just gonna keep brushing. I'm gonna release 1 second to see if something is happening. So it's keep picking up all this area that we don't want. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna go ahead and hit my right bracket to make a very large brush, because we do not want any of this pixel to be sampled for our selection. And ta-da! Photoshop is so clever that automatically start to picks up all these parts that we do want. I think that there is some yellow here, which I think is picking up from there. So we definitely need to zoom out a little bit. Oops. There we go. Yeah, so there is still all this side that we do not want. So make sure that we erase all this sample area that we don't want. And here we go.
It's looking good.
It's looking good, huh? I'm actually very happy. This is such a time saver. I don't know if you used it before, but
yeah,
now
it's my favorite tool by far.
As you guys seen, I completely forgot the way to access the previous content aware field, because this new task space
This is better.
is amazing.
It's better.
There's also some other clever thing that you can do with it, which work more for perspective, or if you are working on a rotation, which are these settings over here. So if we zoom in, scale is great if you have a brick wall, so you have to replace something that is in a perspective, or mirror allows you to mirror horizontally the pixel that you're sampling. So I find this super, super cool. Now, another cool feature of this new task space is the output setting. So you can output to a new layer. So even if we are working with a rasterized layer, which will be usually a destructive action, it creates a new layer of the selection. So you're not really destructing the image. Or if you wanna make a static change, so affect the pixel of your original image, you can use current layer. Or you can duplicate the layer in order to create a new layer with the adjustment made. I like to keep it on a new layer. I think it's really nice to have a selection to see what we have done. And I'm just gonna commit to the changes by pressing OK. Then I'm gonna press Command D to deselect the area. Beautiful. And if we toggle back, as you can see, this is our selection that we created with our content aware fill. If we toggle back with this little eye tool, you can see that we've done a really nice and clean job.
Like Gal said, you saved his life.
Yay! It's really, really, it's a really nice feature. I really love all these Photoshop 2019 feature. They're so clever. So what I'm gonna do, I am going to save the image by pressing Shift Command S. We're saving a copy. I want to use a JPEG, and I'm gonna put it on our desktop. So it would be nice and fine to use black and green olives. I'm happy with the name of the file. I'm just gonna press save, and I like to work with a nice big resolution, so I'm just gonna keep a large size and just press OK in order to save. If we go back on our Photoshop shared image template, all we have to do now is to double click on our image background smart object in order to access the content of our smart object container, and then we can press File and where is the place? Yes, File, place embedded. As we explained yesterday, the difference between place embedded and place linked is the fact that place embedded allows you to make the file part of the file that you're working in, and that's what we want. And we're gonna place our olive here. We're gonna use our option key in order to transform it. And what I'm doing here, I'm just dragging to the top in order to scale it. And then I'm just gonna drag it a little bit to the left so we can make a full use of our negative space. And I'm just gonna press OK and close this file and accept the changes here. So we're almost there. All we gotta do now is select a color for our background. So our text will have a contrast to lay on. And we're gonna do that by selecting our rectangle and going into properties. At the moment, as you can see here in the properties, the rectangle has an outline. We do not want an outline, we just wanted to give it a feel. And I'm gonna select a color here. Probably I'm gonna use the eye picker to select a color, the eyedropper tool here, to pick a color from our photos. So
I'm gonna go with that olive.
Yeah, we're gonna go with the olive green. But also now,
matches my shirt.
Yes, beautiful olive gold color. What we can do also here is take full advantage of our color panel. In fact, if we go on this on the side menu here, we can use the color wheel. The color wheel is a brand new micro feature of Photoshop 2019. Is very useful for designer. It's very amazing. It works with HSB, which is use saturation and brightness. As you can see, it's designed very well to understand how the hue works. So hue is the value of the color. So that's how we change the color, and it goes around here. The brightness is, the saturation of the color going from white to fully saturated is up here on this side. And the brightness will be going down to here and up. So you can just simply use this new color wheel to play with your colors, or you can use the slider, which is pretty much the same thing, but I think it's very intuitive to use the color wheel here. Also, there is something amazing that Photoshop does, which is, I discovered that Photoshop does math. For someone that is dyslexic like me, it's like super cool feature because I'm very bad with numbers. My mind, numbers do like a little dance.
I'm not good at math either.
If someone tells me like a number, I'm just like swap all the, all the digits. But Photoshop does math for you. So for example, we want to find a complementary color. We know that usually complementary color are sitting opposite on the color wheel. So all we got to do is add plus 180, and Photoshop will take you, this is very important. We already were working with the value above 80. So, if we're working with a positive value, we need to select a minus. Otherwise, it goes over 100. So in this case, we should have been adding minus 180. And Photoshop, let's see. Photoshop does the math, but I do not do the math. Let's see if we can go back to our color panel and add.
This is a good time to mention that we're a little over 30 minutes away from design feedback reviews. So if you haven't already, go check out the Daily Creative Challenge from this morning that Kathleen told us about. We're designing really cool souvenir postcards. So if you send us your designs, we will look at them today and give you some feedback. So
very looking forward to it.
Yes, 30 minutes. So make sure you guys submit.
So the problem here is that I needed to add 180. Again, I apologize for my math. Photoshop does it right, but I don't. So the cool part is that by adding 180 degrees, all it does, it takes you to the opposite side. So you can simply add a value depending if you want to work with a different area of the color wheel. And by adding the value here on your hue in your new color wheel panel, Photoshop will automatically move you around the wheel. So you don't have to do any calculations. The reason why I've done that is because, again, I wanted to use a complementary color. So we find out this beautiful tile here, and we're gonna use it for our rectangle tool. So we're gonna go ahead and select our rectangle tool here. Let's go back and create this selection. And if you see here on the properties, we have the new color that we created sitting on our swatch. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick this color and then press outside the property panel and select Command D in order to deselect the pixel. So here we go. This is a very standard. Again, I'm not gonna work into refine it. I will probably change the color of the typeface. We have a lot to do, guys. I'm gonna jump into a different section, but in your own time, you can go ahead and double click here on your text layer on the smart object, select the layer and change color, and then go back into your mockup. This is the beauty and the flexibility of working with templates and working with Photoshop. You got infinite possibility. I hope that I helped you to understand how to create the basic structure and how to play with it and how to use images in order to create a clear background. But I will just go ahead and save this image for now. So again, go onto File and Export and Save for Web. Make sure to do so because, again, all these images were going to be published into a digital environment. So again, I'm very happy with the size of the file. We're working with the correct size for the output that we're aiming to produce. So we can just go ahead and press Save. And I'm going to put these on my desktop as well. So here we go. We already started to create a full asset for our client. We got an Instagram story, we got a Facebook shared image, and every time that there is a new offer or there is a new topic that you wanna that your client wants to highlight on their social media in order to communicate their brand, all you have to do is to go back on your template and swap your image from a smart object, swap the text. Super easy. You're gonna be ready. You got your preset ready.
Yep.
So
ready to go.
I hope you guys are happy with those tricks.
We're gonna get into some illustration now?
Yes.
Ooh.
I was just waiting to see if we're ready to plug in the iPad. I'm gonna use some new features here today, guys. I don't know if you, how many of you, please let us know on the chat who works with tablets. I work with an old version of an iPad Pro here. Again, very sad without stickers.
It's okay.
But let's go ahead and create some illustration. The reason why I want to show this is it's going to be a very quick illustration. And the reason why I want to do that is because I want to make sure that you guys know that even illustration is part of the branding. I've brought my sketchbook here. I'm just going to go ahead and open our Illustrator Draw in order to create a new project. What I have to do here is press on the plus, and I'm going to go ahead and create a printing file, just because I always like to start and work with a bigger definition. Yeah, bigger definition image, because you can use it for digital, but you might end up printing it. So you really want to start with a bigger file rather than do the reverse. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with Draw, Draw is the vector app for mobile. So it's pretty much the closest thing to Illustrator. And it's very cool because it allows you to create professional output on the go. So you can be on a train, you don't need your laptop, you can just use Draw. I know that there is an amazing app coming soon.
Coming soon, so exciting.
We're really looking forward to discover more about Fresco. Yes. But for now, those are the apps that I use in my daily routine, and that's why I want to share those with you guys. So I'm just gonna go ahead and open my sketchbook here and go into an image that I already prepared, which recalls the theme again. Well, all the elements come from our mood board that we saw yesterday. So let's go ahead and grab the image here from my sketchbook. In order to access that, we can work with capture within Draw. by doing that, in order to access capture, all you have to do is click on your shapes and press the little plus sign, and capture automatically comes in. So you can see my little notebook here. Let's see if we can find a nice light. We got a little bit of cable constraint, but we should be able to aim for a good, let's see. I'm just gonna adjust here a little bit the contrast, and I'm just gonna press our photos in order to bring in our image. We can get rid of our sketch because now we got a traced vector there. I'm gonna press save, and it's gonna bring it back into our app. As you can see, is a almost like a pencil sketch. I'm just using 2 fingers here in order to open it up. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna select one of my brushes here, just the main normal brushes. And as you can see, all you have to do is to click on one of the trays that you created with capture, and automatically brings in the entire design. Once you do that, you can press the X here in order to close the traced image that we grabbed, that we captured within our draw application. Now, let's see if we can work on this rotation. The beauty of working with draw is that you can rotate canvas, so you can go from a landscape into a portrait. I think I'm comfortable working with a portrait right now, so I'm just gonna leave it like so, and you can navigate by pinching in and out. I'm gonna move very quickly here because the entire purpose of showing you this is the fact that you can actually create an illustration on your iPad and you can output it directly on your desktop. Yes. So we're just gonna go ahead and create a new layer by pressing the plus and create a draw layer. And I'm just gonna go ahead and use the amazing integration of the CC library, which is also available on your mobile apps. So by pressing our brush and our color swatches here, you have different options: color picker, theme, or our library. The library that I selected is the Rebranding Olive and Thyme, which is the one that we created with our mood board yesterday. If you wish to access a different library, just simply click here where it says Create Library. But I'm happy with this one. So I'm just gonna go ahead and select a color. And very simply, I'm just gonna follow the shape that we created before. And the beauty of this is that you don't need to be a master illustrator. I am not. I used to write on walls. I never took a, drawing class, or I never had the luck to study as an illustrator. But still, thanks to this amazing tool, you can make amazing design happen. So what I've done here, I've just selected a shape. Remember, we're working with vector, so I'm not gonna go ahead and paint inside because this is gonna create multiple vector. All you have to do is to create a shape, make sure that the edges are closed, so it's a closed shape, and then you can just press inside in order to fill the shape. So again, I'm just gonna move fairly quickly here in order to create different shape. I usually like to keep different same color shapes within the same layer. If you wanna undo what you just did, there is this little back arrow here to undo, and you can draw again. It doesn't really affect if you have any shape moving forward if you go ahead and fill it. And now, as you can see, because I'm drawing on top of my illustration, I've actually lost some of the detail, but if you double click on your draw layer here, it's gonna go ahead and hide them. So another clever thing that I wanna show you about working with an iPad and draw is that you can also integrate the apps called Sketch. iPad allows you to, and I'm sure other tablets as well, but this is my only experience with tablet, allows you to work on a multi-screen. So you can, so it's a multi-class, it's called multitask split screen. So what you do, you simply exit by pressing your main menu. I'm gonna open my Creativity Anywhere folder and open Sketch. Now, while Sketch is open, we're gonna create a new file. We need to make sure that it's the same size that we were using before, which is an A3. And then if we just slide forward, we see that our active apps are here in our menu bar. And all I have to do in order to activate this multitask area is click and drag on Adobe Draw. As you can see, it became a panel. And I'm just going to drop it into the same panel as Sketch. These allow you to pretty much work with this app together. So both apps are active here, and you can click and drag layers. So for example, if the layer that we captured before within Draw, you can click it and drag it into Sketch, and here it is.
That is so cool. I didn't know.
Super cool that.
I didn't know to do that.
So once you are done with this, you can go ahead and use all the brushes that you have on Draw. Draw is the parallel of Photoshop, so it focuses more on brushes, whereas Sketch is the parallel of Illustrator and is based on vector illustration. And we can go ahead and create more details of our images by using one of these amazing brushes which are available here into Sketch. I don't even want to imagine what is going to be possible in the future with the new app.
Fresco.
So yeah,
Lots of really great features.
I don't want to go too much in depth in here because I know that there is going to be so much more coming, guys. All I wanted to show you is that you can work on your tablet, both create using brushes and vectors, and create professional output. I could go ahead and print this file straight away because here, if you see this little window where there is like a box on the top, it allows you to do different things. Save your file as an image. You can send it on Behance in order to showcase your beautiful work. You can save it to your Creative Cloud or save it as a PDF. In that case, you'll be able to send your file directly into the printer. Now again, I'm looking at the time and we got so much more things to do. So one of the most important things is to show you how to send your illustration into an app. So I'm just gonna go back into my laptop, but before disconnecting the iPad, all I'm doing on my laptop, where you guys don't see, I'm only opening Illustrator. The reason why I'm doing that is because I want to be able to transport the output of my sketch file from my iPad directly into my desktop app. That's the power of using your workflow and streamlining thanks to the use of Creative Cloud. I think that's just like in the past you would have had to save, send yourself an email, you know, maybe it's not the right format.
Right.
So
can't open it.
No, all you gotta do
nightmares.
now is click on Share, Adobe Desktop, and I'm gonna pick Illustrator CC. And as you can see, there is a little load bar here that is showing me that is actually working. And I'm gonna unplug my iPad. Oops, sorry, I unplugged it too fast. I unplugged my iPad, and I'm just gonna show you what happens here on my Illustrator file.
Boom.
Boom.
It's there.
The artwork is there. Now, today we're not focusing on drawing and illustration, so I'm not gonna go ahead and create this file from scratch. As you can see, it's a very, very simple illustration file. I'm just gonna go ahead and show you the final result that I've done last night, thinking of you guys.
Working smarter, not harder.
Yes, which is here,
Beautiful.
already saved on our libraries. Now, we created this illustration. I created this illustration on my iPad. As you can see, with one click, I brought it back into my desktop environment, and we're gonna use it in order to create some extension of our branding. So the goal today is to go and create some mockups.
Ooh, I love mockups.
So let's
gonna
go
be
back
fun.
and open Photoshop. What I've done before is to create mockups. I'm just going to go and close this file in order not to be confused by our Facebook image and keep our workspace nice and neat. So we can just close this file for now. Just going to put on my desktop. So we're starting with our mockups. Now, you can work with templates, so you can download mockups. You can find some on my website. You can find tons on Adobe Stock, but also you can create your own mockups from an image. And that's what I want to share with you guys, because I think that it's very important to have the flexibility to choose the image that you like. Not always you're able to use, to find a mockup that is actually the right mockup for your purpose. So what I've done, I went into, I'm just going to create a new document. It doesn't really matter the size at the moment. All I need is to create a new document. And I'm going to go on my libraries here. What I've done, I've done some research into Adobe Stock, and I have licensed an image of a throw pillow, which I really, really like, a cushions. That's something that I usually do for my clients. I always try to think a little bit, out of the box. Everyone does a mock-up of a stationery. We've done it during my previous stream. Yeah. I like to bring something that makes the environment warm. And that's something also that explains the true extent of what a real branding project is. A real branding project becomes part of the environment and the business. And what most than having a cozy pillow where you can relax with your branding assets on it.
Yes.
So let's go and get started. I'm going to double click on this photo. Again, I found this photo by searching here on Adobe Stock. I just searched for a cushion, white cushion. The reason why I prefer using white is then because we can lay our image with our blending modes without doing too much work. But let's go and start and see how to create a mockup starting from a photo. So the first step over here will be to convert our layer into a smart object. I'm just gonna minimize our color swatch here because we don't really need it. All we need is to have a clear vision of our layer. So what I've done, I just dragged the panel from the bottom into the side because we're really working on our layers now. So I'm just gonna click Control and click on the, or right click on your layer and convert it to a smart object to start. The reason why we're doing that is because all changes and any changes that we're going to make, we want to work in a not destructive way, so we do not want them to affect our image. Then I'm going to go ahead and try to select a shape. In this case will be a square because we know that our final output is a square, is a pillow. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on the rectangle tool, click on top of our cushions and press Shift in order to constrain proportion. And we create a very rough selection, like so. I'm gonna go here on my properties panel, make sure the outline is transparent and our fill is white. Once we're happy with our rectangle, I'm gonna press OK. And I'm gonna bring the opacity. First of all, we're gonna make this rectangle also a smart object because we do not we want to work in a flexible way. We want to be able to go back and make changes to whatever edits. So again, right click or press Ctrl and click on the layer and convert to a smart object. Let's go and bring the opacity down in order to see our image and be able to see what we're working on. I'm going to select our shape and click Command T to access the transform tool. And I'm going to place it a little bit more hover by dragging our square. And I'm going to introduce you guys to this new tool over here, which is called Switch Between Transform and Warp. So, but when we are on our transform tool, by clicking this little tool, we access the warp tool. And what I'm going to do, what I like to do usually is to try to find the shape that is quite similar to the shape that we're working on. In this case, I think this squeeze kind of shape allow us to have a nice transformation. In order to control, oh, what happened here? I must have clicked out. So I'm just going to click a Command T again and click on our warp tool to see what we were doing. Again, as I was saying, in order to control the bend, you can just use your bend option here. You just drag left and right into the bend title, or you can just on the label, or you can just use the numbers in order to control your bend. Now, something really cool here that I don't know if you ever used this tool before, but you can go back from your presets into your customs. So we selected a shape, which is allow us to have a quick selection that is closer to what we want, but then we can go back into custom here. Custom brings back all the feature that we have into the free transformation, like this beautiful handle that allow us to create a selection which is much closer to our shape. What I strongly recommend here is to make sure that you go over the outline, but at the same time you don't want to leave too much of a white space. So what I'm doing, I'm clicking on all these points and clicking on this handle, and I'm going to drag around in order to make sure that the outline of our shape is over our pillow. We do not want any white area showing. It's not going to be a perfect selection, and again guys, when you're working from home you can spend much more time into refining it. We're still going to refine it a bit more, but I just really want to show you this amazing technique because I think it's very, very useful for creating your mockup. Also, what I want to make sure to remind you is to be aware of this mesh. We're working with a 3D object, so we really want to fake a little bit of that 3D effect. So I'm just going to work here on these lines in order to create a blend and make a very fluffy, comfy pillow here.
Plush.
Yes.
Plush pillow.
Yes. And I think we are...
It's looking good.
It's looking good, isn't it? And we're going to hit return in order to accept the changes. Now we have quite a lot of white spaces. We want to make a better selection. So what we're going to do here is hide this layer for now by toggling the visibility a little high next to our layer. And we're going to make sure that we select our background layer. And then we could use a quick selection, which is selected pixels by dragging them, or if I click Command D in order to deselect the area, we can rely on select subject. Again, that's an amazing extension of the super powerful Adobe Sensei, which is Adobe Artificial Intelligence. And usually for image like that, it tends to do a really good job because, you know, they're quite simple image. What Adobe Sensei does, it looks at the overall image and focus and select the main subject. So let's go here and click on select subject, and here we go. I don't know if you guys see the selection.
You see the little ants.
Yes, it's done a very good job. So now that we have the pixel that we want selected, we go back on our rectangle tool shape, make it visible, and then click this little guy here at the bottom in order to create a mask. So very quickly, we got rid of all the pixel that we didn't want. There is so much more that you can refine here. As you can see, I'm just gonna zoom in a bit. The transition is a little bit harsh. You can work on it by selecting your mask and going on your properties and click on select and mask. And if you do not have this view like I do, it's probably because you need to change the view mode here. I like to work with black and white so I have a clear idea of what I'm working on. And I'm just gonna go ahead and smooth the edges a little bit, maybe even a little bit more, and create a little bit of feather. So as you can see, allow us to have a little bit more of a soft definition on our mask. And I'm gonna go ahead and press OK. Nice. Again, guys, you can spend so much more time to refine this selection. I'm just showing you the fastest, most efficient way to work in order to create a professional result. What I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna click on our blending mode and use multiply. As you see, the white from being bright white flattens into the background color. The reason why we decided to use a white image is because we wanted to be able to multiply and have a neutral background. All we're left to do now is to click on our amazing smart object, which is our mask, and we're gonna bring in our Illustrator image that we created on our iPad. So we do that by placing an embedded file. We're gonna find our file. I saved it here. Let's see, the artworks, here we go. So we can save the overall artwork here and press place. And then I'm just gonna press Option key and drag it around.
That looks good.
Here we go. Once we're happy with the result, make sure that the entire smart object is covering the entire area. We're just gonna press Return in order to accept the changes, Command W to close, and press Save in order to accept the changes.
Ooh,
And here we go.
so
Now,
beautiful.
the reason why is the colors are not popping up is because remember when we were working on our mask, we were using low opacity because we wanted to work. We see the image below. In order to bring it back, all you do is just go on your opacity and bring your opacity back to 100. And
It's
here we go.
beautiful.
So once you create these beautiful mock-ups, you can give a real idea to your client on how the product are gonna look like. And chances are that, should we just unveil our little
I
surprise?
guess we should.
Chances are that clients fall in love with your artwork and
Wham.
order many pillows. So here we go. That's exactly from, there is a little bit of green, so I think we have a little bit of fuzziness
Yes.
for our screen, but I'm sure you get the idea.
Extra plush.
Yeah, we got our branding,
see
we
the
got our
logo.
logo, we got the illustration, we got the mock-up that we made in Photoshop. I think it's very exciting. It's exciting for the client, it's exciting for you guys to see your work becoming reality. And again,
So awesome.
if you again like having
back.
there is the mug as well. The reason why I wanted to show you object like that, or you can make mugs. We're working with a restaurant, so it would be nice if they make their own coffee to have the branding on some object that they can sell. This is the power of the branding. So make sure that you don't constrain your idea of branding only to having a logo, because the branding belongs to the entire system
Exactly.
of the business that you are representing.
And you can create all of these beautiful, fun things.
Yes. So here we go. We're going to leave
looks
there
like-
for now. Do you want to use it?
Actually, I need a little back support. No.
So if we go back on our file, again, like in this case, before presenting it to the client, I've placed the logo. All you got left to do is to save your file. So again, I'm just going to go ahead and press File. I usually send those via email, so I'm never going to really print this mockup. So I'm going to go ahead and export it with a Save for Web Legacy here. In this case, I've got quite of a large image. As I said before, just make sure that our proportions are constrained. So again, this linked is active, and I'm gonna reduce it to probably like 60%. And if we click out of our selection, we can see that the image gets scaled, but most importantly, the size of the file have been much more manageable via email. All I have to do is press Save and call it ONT Pillow, and press it on my put it on my desktop and click Save. And here we go. Actually, we hit the
Perfect
zero.
timing.
Perfect timing.
Look at you.
Yes.
It is review time. It looks like we have some amazing designs that you guys sent us. So let's get started here. Let's start. Ooh.
Oh,
Who do we have here?
wow. Oh, my gosh.
Gerard.
Now I'm just going to put me in a mood for holidays.
Right. Greetings from the Bahamas.
This is
Cue and
looking
palm
beautiful.
trees. Oh,
This is looking beautiful.
So
So I
cute.
really love what you've done with the typeface there with the Bahamas. And I think that the white typeface on top of the seaside works very well. Probably my advice here will be to stick on using the white.
yes.
There are, you want to avoid competition within elements of your own design.
There's a lot of blues here.
There is a lot of blues, there is a lot going on. You really want to make sure that Bahamas stays as the main focal point in terms of visual hierarchy. The blue competes with the shade because it's such a bright, it's a beautiful color, but it's almost try to overpower the Bahamas.
Competing with the sky. It's a little bit with the water. So
I would just keep it white.
The white.
And leave it as it is, because otherwise it's a very, very beautiful postcard. Also, again, you know, the use of the outline is not consistent. I'm a big fan of simplicity there. So I think that as long as you make the top text there, greetings from the, in white, you absolutely nail it. Yeah, I love the Bahamas type. It looks very beautiful.
I want to go to the Bahamas.
Have you ever been?
I have, and I want to go back.
So jealous.
I know.
Just jealous here.
This
a little turtle.
So cute.
That's a little turtle.
Actually, it's like a big turtle. Giant turtle. Greetings from Camp Photoshop.
Yeah. Again, I really love what you guys have done here with Kathleen. The type treatments look very, very cool.
Very cool.
I love the way that you played with the contrast. So everything that is on the blue background is brown, and everything that is on the brown background is blue. Again, there is a lot going on here. The turtle really takes a lot of the attention. So probably what I will do, I will just move the text a little bit towards the sky. I would just try to resize. What do you think? I love the colors overall.
I think a little resizing.
Yeah, a little
help.
resizing. Maybe like I will make the turtle smaller if it's possible.
Yeah, the text and the turtle are definitely competing right now.
Yeah. So
we immediately saw the turtle.
Yeah, the turtle. So yeah, I will probably make the turtle smaller, or you can just have like the turtle like having a little sneaky piece.
He's like popping out of the
Yeah, you don't need the entire turtle. So what I'll probably do is select the background and drag outside, and maybe just having like the top half of the turtle.
Yeah.
So the text can be the real hero here.
Yeah.
And also probably be careful with the transition. It's looking beautiful, but I read Fot or shop.
Oh, because of the
I will break the color again, make it, move the image. I completely understand what you've done with the background, and I love it. But I will make sure that the transition works, towards a better readability and not against it. So I will probably move the background, just making sure that the O is part of the word photo, so we have a better understanding. Because otherwise, I'll be wondering, what is an O shop? Is it definitely turtle shop?
Maybe it is.
But I love the colors. I love the type treatment there. And I love turtles. So well done. Just have a little bit of a play. I think it's only resizing here.
Yeah. He's so handsome. We still love the turtle.
Yes. Well done.
All right.
So exciting. So we're going to have a lot of tight treatments here. Oh my gosh, I'm getting jealous.
Greetings from Camp Photoshop. With the design, Dusk Till Dawn, this definitely fits.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So there is definitely a good choice of color palettes here, but there is some issue with legibility because of the clouds being so blue.
Yeah.
I probably think that the drop shadow or the 3D effect that you created will need to go on a much lighter color. You can pick a color with your eyedrop from your from the sky, so maybe using like a soft orange.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe in here, like more into the sunset, and that'll help the yellow pop a little bit more and not fade into the blue.
Yeah, because again, the content is the hero. So as beautiful as it is in terms of color palette and type treatments, you really want to make sure that people read your content.
Exactly.
So yeah, in this case, the way that the image is distributed is perfect. There is no competition between the image and the text. They work very well. You got the text introducing the, design Dusk Till Dawn, and then you got, the little images in there. It looks warm and fun, and the way there is almost like a diagonal line that is explaining the text and the image. So yeah, in terms of distribution and layout, very well done. I will definitely work more on bringing contrast to your text. Otherwise, well done.
Job.
Ooh. We really love this one.
This is great. I love how you just like the layering with the P disappearing in the back of the mountain.
Beautiful.
That's awesome.
Very, very beautiful. Very well done. If I have to be like very picky, I mean, there is nothing to say.
Yeah.
I love everything. I will just worry a little bit about the margin. So bring in a little bit of the margin, because if you have to use it digitally, it's not a problem. If you have to print it, you want a little bit of safe zone between the edge of the page and the beginning of the text, because when the printer go ahead and trim the edges, it might chop up, especially the yellow there of the first P.
Oh yeah,
at the
this
very
one
beginning.
It's really close.
Yeah, and then you know it will lose the alignment. Yeah. So leave a little bit of a juggle room. Otherwise, I mean, I love it. I love the entire mood. You know, you can almost like hear the crickets.
I know, yes.
Beautiful.
Stargazing. I love how the tent is like, it's like lit as if there's I don't know, the person has a little light inside. He's like reading camp stories.
We are camping.
We are camping. I love this. I love this a lot.
Beautiful. Color composition. I mean, I've got nothing else to add besides saying very well done. Awesome. Very well done.
Ooh, fun.
Oh, that's really cool. So there is a double masking here.
Yeah.
So we have the text on top of the masking. Again, I think that text is readable and is fine. You have a lot of almost negative space at the bottom that is unused, and it felt a little bit squished between the kind of horizon line and where the building meets the sky. So what I'll do, I'll probably, I mean, if I can just go ahead and, so like up here, like I would like to have a little bit more of breathing space in order to like ease and have a breathe when you're reading it. So all I'll do, I'll probably just grab your image and just drag it down a little bit.
Just a tad.
Yeah, you don't really need all these spaces over here.
Yeah.
Just empty. There is nothing, you know, there is no main subject. There are no people.
Yeah, even if you kind of bring it down to start at this point where the rocks meet and the people, that would probably help just bring out all of this negative space right here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's all it needs. It just needs, and also, as you can see, like you got the light poles here that kind of sticks.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
So yeah, we just want to make, I'm sure that if you bring the image down a little bit, it will take a second. If you want to do it and resubmit it, we'll have a look, because I think that's a very, very quick fix. And otherwise, I think it works very nice.
And also, where is Felix Stowe? Let us know. Is this a real place? Let us know.
Yes.
Seems like a cool place. Okay. Oh, we have, is that Kathleen again? Kathleen, you are everywhere.
I love it. I absolutely
I
love
love how she's just peeking out of the tent.
Yeah, she's just like, absolutely love it.
So cute.
Such a cute illustration. Like that can be like her sticker.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, send us Kathleen stickers. Without Kathleen's permission. Jesus.
I'm sure she's gonna love it.
Yes.
So I really like what you guys done there. It looks like you use capture. Probably in general, I would have advised to clean up your image, because there are a little bit of dots here around the photo. But I think it actually works very well in the way that you used it. So it's nice sometimes to keep some details, to retain some details there, because they bring a little bit more of the grunge texture. I'm not too sure about the color palette in the background. It looks like there are like
in the background here.
Yeah,
it's like it seems like an image, and there's like some type of filter over it that makes it gives like a some type of illustration filter. Yeah. I mean, what I will do here, probably the only thing that I'm finding confusing is the fact that there are many different elements and then they're not fully understandable, I think. So in terms of the type composition and what you've done with capture there, 100%, I love it. But in terms of the image, try to simplify
What do you think? Just
I
probably
think
just
so,
the top.
too.
The only problem that I see is at the top there, at the corner.
Oh, right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's just part of the image. Maybe it's just making this bigger and having the focus only be on the tents.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah,
Just simplify, because we
simple.
got Kathleen, we got the text. Again, you always have to think about making it easy to understand, and do not build competition between your own elements.
Yeah. This would be a good opportunity to do the content-aware fill and just you can take out
good
this
call.
back and then just leave the tents as the main image, and then
Very good
yeah,
call.
I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, that you can definitely take advantage of the new content-aware fill task space and work with your preview live and use your sampling pixel there. Sorry to be the usual geek here, but the reason why I wanted to stress the fact that you need to simplify the design, and not only this one, but we've seen few, is because nowadays we are bombarded by images, so attention is a very, very scarce resource.
Yes.
So the less complicated and clear you make, the most likely people are gonna be able to remember. The most memorable your design is gonna be.
Yes.
So I think if you just simplify the background here, you can keep the rest as it is. It's readable. Very well done. Love the Kathleen cameo there.
Another
She's
comment
gonna
on the
love it.
Kathleen thing, because you just inspired me. What if Kathleen became a stamp because it's a postcard? This would be such a cool stamp.
Oh my gosh,
You're
that's such a clever
inspiring.
idea.
Yes, can we see that?
So we want the back. We want the back of the postcard.
Yes, and
we
you
wanna
just stamp Kathleen on the back.
So cool.
I think it would
So
be so
cool. That's such a cool idea.
Let us see it. If you can get it done, share it with us.
That's such a cool idea.
Ew.
Oh, beautiful. We got another beautiful design here.
I love how the sunset is captured in the font or the text itself. And
It almost looks like as if like a reversed image is
Yeah.
masked inside. Very well done. I love the way that it goes around the
tent.
The tent.
Yeah.
I think that's really,
Great.
really cute. Probably, would you put like a little gradient on the background to make the text pop?
Maybe.
Like I will darken, where it says from. I'm losing a little bit of the letters there.
Yeah.
So what I'll probably do, I will just make the image darker. You can do that by using a camera raw filters and maybe bump up the shadows.
Yeah,
a little bit.
I think that's a good idea. That'll help.
Or lowering the exposure, because again, I think if you lower the exposure, probably it's gonna be looking very nice, because it's gonna make the illumination of the tent pop out even more.
Exactly.
Because the tent looks like it's in a very dark environment, while the sky is quite bright.
It kind of looks like a sunrise in the background, and then you're trying to capture a sunset within the text. So if you just dimmed it down a little bit, it would be perfect.
Yeah, I think if we just made the sky and the overall background image a little bit darker, is absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
The text, because the text is nice. Again, beautiful, lovely, simple, easy to read. We just need to bring a little bit more of contrast.
Yes. Otherwise.
Oh, they're saying we need to read what they're saying, because it says Kathleen needs a brush.
A Kathleen brush? Oh my gosh, we have so many ideas just based off of Kathleen today. Bring them to the Daily Creative Challenge tomorrow.
Yes, that would be so.
She'll love
so
it.
cool. And also Noor says to cater for colorblind or daltonic person. That's a very, very.
That's a great idea.
That's a great idea.
Great
so
idea.
that's a very good topic that needs to be explored more to make design more accessible. So very well done. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, and I think that's it for today. Let me scroll down to the bottom. Is this a redo of the? Oh wait, we got some late.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Perfect. I love when you guys put this extra effort.
Look at our little turtle.
It looks amazing. And look at the transition, how well it looks like. You see Photoshop. You can read greetings from, and absolutely well done.
Great job, you guys.
Well
took
done.
feedback
Thank you so
very
much
well.
for submitting it straight away.
And then we have one more.
That's also an editing.
Yeah.
Well done. I see this is the passion that I was talking about. That's why I think we connect
good
so
group.
well. I absolutely love everyone in the chat. You guys are a very awesome bunch. This is the the main idea. Do not stop. Just keep going, and being willing to share your design, accept the feedback, and rework it straight away. You know, that's what makes the difference. That's what builds the road towards success.
And they're doing it faster. They're working faster and smarter, not harder.
That's our style.
That is our style.
It looks beautiful. I think it looks absolutely beautiful. As you can see, you can like almost breathe when you read it.
Yes.
There is a full understanding. There is no competition. We don't have any more stick into the letter.
Yes. You guys did a great job.
And we didn't really need the bottom part of the photos. We didn't, you know, we're not missing anything. If anything, we gained so much more breathing space there between the text and the photo. Very well done.
Great job, everyone.
So there is a question there on how to start with branding. This is the topic that we went over during these 2 days. You can go back and watch the stream by logging on behance.net/live/replays. And starting from yesterday, you can have a look on what we worked on in terms of how to start with branding. One of the biggest advice that I gave is to the very first step is mood board. But even before building your mood board in InDesign is to ask questions and listen to your client. Again, I want to remind you guys that I've put a lot of freebies for you on my website, which is iamkladi.com/resources.
Tim has shared the link in the chat.
Yes.
So scroll down if you can't find that.
And in order to reply to this question correctly, so to start a branding, my reply will be with a brand platform. If you input your email into the field where it says I want Kladi resources on my website, I'll be able to share with you my documentation. So if you guys want to know more, just feel free to ask, because you know I'm happy to share as much as I can.
We have a little bit less than 8 minutes left. Do you want to show one more thing, or should we just take questions?
We can do both. I would love to. I don't know if we have time. 8 minutes. We try.
Work smarter, not harder.
Yes, let's try. Let's try. I don't like to say no, so let's do it. So something else that I had in store for you guys is to create an Instagram post which is actually animated in an infinite loop. So I'm gonna just go ahead and start by showing you first what we want to build, and then I'm gonna go a little bit fast because we only have 8 minutes, but you can go back and watch the replays as many times as you want.
Yes.
So this is the final output, is an MP4 videos, which has got a quick animation and gives some information about the business, and is ready to be published on your Instagram. In order to create this Instagram post, you will have to go back on the social media kit cheat sheet 2019 and get the size of your Instagram post. I think I already saved it as a preset while working, because again, working smarter. Here we go. I save already my preset, so you can see Instagram post. If you don't remember how to save the preset, all you have to do is get the right sizes, input it into your setting, and press this button here in order to save your preset. And that will help you to just simply click on your save preset, and in one click we can create a new file, and I'm gonna call it Insta Post. And I'm gonna press create to create a new file. Now, in order to work with a timeline, we need to bring a new panel, but I'm not gonna do just yet because I wanna prepare our file first. So first of all, as you remember from example that I showed you, we have a background layer with a color. In order to bring that up, I'm just gonna click on our adjustment layer here at the bottom of our layers panel and click on our solid color. By doing so, we're creating a new layer which is filled with one color. If we want to use one of the color, oops, sorry, accidentally pressed cancel. Let's do that again. So adjustment panel, solid color, and then press OK. If we want to use one of our library colors, we have our CC library here with all our assets, and we can use, just simply click on any of the swatch it that you save in your assets in order to bring it into your background. Also, what I like to do, I like to build already a kind of structure by using folders or grouped layers. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on create a new group, and I'm going to call it frame 1. And then because this frame for now is empty, I'm just going to select the layer and press Command J in order to create a copy. Double click on the label, and I'm just going to delete 1, and I'm going to call it frame 2. So the first frame just had the background and the logo. So I'm just going to go and use our graphics here. This is the beauty of using the libraries. I don't have to open Illustrator, I don't have to open everything. I've got all my branding asset here sitting next to me in my Photoshop workspace. So all I have to do here is click and drag our logo, making sure that is on the center thanks to the use of our Smart Guide. Press Option to constrain the centering and drag up in order to make it bigger. And I'm going to press Return to accept the changes. Now that we have our vector, we're going to rename it logo just to keep our layer nice and neat. And I'm going to place it into our group called frame 1. Now I got a little trick for you guys. If we close this folder and we want to import this layer into the folder, the group, usually we just click on the layer and drag. But look what happened. The layer gets stuck on top, and we do not want that. So if I press Command Z to undo, now I'm going to try this very clever way, which is by holding Shift and clicking and dragging the layer into the frame. It will bring it automatically to the bottom. So if you want to put any element that has to go on the background into a group of layers, hold Shift, and that automatically will bring the layer at the very bottom. If you do not hold Shift, it will be stuck on the top. So here we go. We already got our first frame, which we're gonna turn off because we're gonna work on our second sequence here.
We have 3 minutes, guys.
So we're just gonna keep it very, very simple here. We're just gonna use this background in order to insert an image. And we're gonna do so by converting into a smart layer, right-clicking on our layer. And we're gonna double-click into our smart object to open it up. And we're going to use one of those images here that we selected before. I think this Greek taverna can be a good one.
Beautiful.
I'm going to go ahead and license this file because we're going to use it to publish it into our Instagram story. In order to do so, all you have to do is right-click on your file and click on License Image. And it should be in a second. Yes, confirm. And here we go. I've licensed my image. In 1 second, we're going to have our Adobe stock logo going away. And I'm just going to close the file for now and click Save. I'm just going to... here we go. So we have our image here on the background. There must have been some issue here with the internet, but if you do use it for publishing your images, you must license it. It's got a little tick here, so it looks like it's been licensed already. Just gonna go back and drag and drop it again to see if we get rid of the
1 minute to go.
We'll worry about that later, because otherwise I won't be able to show you how to create the timeline. In order to create the timeline, we have 2 frames now, a photo and the logo. I'm gonna go into our window, and as you can see here, there it says timeline. I'm gonna click, and the timeline panel will come up. I'm gonna click on create video timeline, and then press on these little squares here at the bottom. Oh, you cannot see it because I think my chair is there.
Cut off my head.
But they are at the very bottom. It transforms probably, let's see if I can figure it out. Down here. Here we go. Thank you so much.
To the other side.
So they're over here, and we're gonna click it in order to convert our timeline into frames, because that's what we need to work with. Our frames will contain the logo, and then we're gonna click on this new layer here to create another frame. We're gonna toggle the visibility of our first frame. Oops. And we want the image in our second frame. I usually like to loop images by repeating the first and the last frame twice. And you can do that by selecting the frame, click on Option, and drag at the very bottom. So now you see we have our frames repeating. As you can see, it says 5 seconds. In order to change that, you click on the 5 second, and I'm going to use alpha second. And if we press play, you can see that we already brought in some animation here. Okay, are we 1 minute to go?
Yeah, it looks like that's it.
That's it. So
you got most of the
really
way
nice
there.
to share all this info with you guys. All you got left to do is to save your file. At least you had a little bit of a glimpse of the timeline. I hope to be back in order to explore more. And
it was nice having you guys.
Yeah,
Thank you for joining
thank you
us
so
these
much
past
for
2
joining
days
us.
and sharing your work.
Thank
We'll
you
see
so
you
much.
next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.